You all realize, right, that we are standing today on holy ground. The transition of a man of God and a church of God to another man of God is holy ground. And not every church does it this way, trust me. Donna and I, my wife, are so thrilled to be a part of this memorable and monumental and wonderful weekend. So thank you for inviting us. What do you say about a guy that has changed your life in more ways than you can imagine? I could go on for this entire new year about my friend John Hampton, but since I only got a couple of minutes, I thought I would shape my comments in the context of a game that John and I love so much that others have already referenced, the game of golf. We have lots of mutual loves. For some reason, golf was one of the biggest. It's where we first connected. I cannot begin to tell you the discussions and the life-changing decisions that we have had, not in the church, but we have had and made on the golf course. My call through John to a church in Cincinnati, he got a voicemail while we were on the golf course, changed the whole trajectory of Donna and I's life. We started playing golf very quickly, very early in our friendship, probably early 20s. And we have literally golfed all over the U.S., and we even traveled to Europe. We golfed in Scotland to play at the old course. Oh, my goodness. And we played the new course, too, which is like a couple hundred years old. We just competed. We played everywhere. We have competed as a team. We have competed with each other. We have competed against each other for decades. And can I just tell you something maybe you know and don't know about John Hampton? He is a competitive guy. He hates to lose in any game, but especially golf. I hate to lose too, but I hide it better because I'm more spiritual. But anyway, but his integrity, his authenticity on the course and in his life and with his family is amazing. You can tell a lot about a guy by golfing with him. In fact, when I would hire people, I didn't tell them if I found out they golf, I'd take them golfing. You find out if they cheat. You find out if they got a temper. You find out what they want to talk about. You're in a golf cart with somebody for 5-6 hours. You're going to find out a lot about them. I threatened to baptize guys if they didn't let me beat them on the golf cart. It's amazing. And you realize, don't you, the gift you have had of an authenticity, integrity, consistency in this guy right here? You realize, right, that most pastors in churches the size of Journey struggle with a large ego. It's a little secret. Trust me, John and I hang out with them. These guys got enormous conceit. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. John has confidence, but he does not have arrogance. His ego has not been his amigo. That's what I've been saying. He has found, you're welcome to use that anytime, Dustin. He has found a way to stay humble yet hungry. And I've noticed it on the golf course and I've noticed in life. I think we've probably helped each other get to this stage of our life by keeping our egos in check for decades together. We always knew who the other were. We had secrets about each other that could be dangerous to the other. So we never got above our raisins. That's a good country way to put it. Well, there are dozens of golf phrases and axioms that golfers have used over the years that bring success. And I was thinking about that, and I thought I would choose just three of those phrases, axioms, that apply to John that I think have led to success not only in life and ministry, but our friendship. Can I give them to you? The first axiom of golf, and if you're going to be a successful friend, have a successful friendship, is this: give and receive your mulligans. Now, in case you don't golf, we'll pray for you, but a mulligan in golf is a do-over. It's a second chance for a tee shot that goes out of bounds or lands in a hazard. Casual golfers, good friends, will give you a mulligan when it's needed. Sometimes they'll give you more than one mulligan. We have done that with each other on a bad day. It's not in the rules, but it preserves your game. It makes you look better than you really are. And John and I have preserved our friendship, I believe, because we have shared, given, and received relational mulligans over the years, lots of them. I have forgiven John, I think, for running out of gas on a freezing, dark, deserted road in Kentucky as we made our way back to Bible college after playing in a special ministers basketball game, another mutual love for us. And I said, don't mess with me, John, when he said, I think we're running out of gas. Don't mess with me today. He wasn't messing. We ran out of gas. I couldn't get any help. There's a whole long story, but I offered to go off into the darkness to a lone house over there. And when I started walking, I heard a dog, it sounded like the Hound of the Baskervilles. It was coming out. Long story. I've given him a mulligan for that. I have given a mulligan for him hitting me with an errant golf shot while playing with my dad one day. And to this day, I think I still walk with a little limp after all that. I have forgiven him for hiring the exact opposite kind of church secretary I requested at a church where I served as a youth minister with him. He'll tell you about that. But although he has given me, I have given him so many mulligans, the degree of mulligans he has forgiven me for and the ones he has bestowed on me are vastly beyond what I have given him, trust me. For instance, he has forgiven me for recruiting him early on to sell Amway with me. Now, I know this is an Amway center, right? I recruited John, then I quit. Anyway, he has forgiven me for asking him to sell merch for me in the dorm at Bible college just so I could pay the bills. Because, tuition was tough. I suffered from the disease of maltuition in Bible college. He has forgiven me for shamelessly stealing so many sermons, jokes, and church ideas while giving him zero credit. Rick actually said John has done a good job preaching his old. Nobody has preached John's old sermons better than me. To our knowledge, there has never been anything that has fractured our friendship, mainly because we have been willing to give and receive multiple mulligans. I'm grateful for the mulligans you have given me. I didn't even deserve to win, but he let me win. And by the way, you ought to be grateful he's given you some mulligans too, because I know you're good, but you ain't that good around here. The second axiom of enjoyable golf and friendship success is this: choose your clubs wisely. Club selection is crucial to success in golf. What you put in your golf bag and what you pull out of your golf bag to use is vital if you're going to win. And clubs, like friends, come in different sizes and shapes. And John Allen Hampton wisely chose and selected Melinda and I, Donna, to be club partners for life. And having gone through this now for some time, succession and reflection, I don't believe Melinda and Donna have got near enough credit for our successful ministries. And I want to say thank you, Melinda, for being faithful to John, my best friend. And thank you, Donna, for loving us and letting us golf a lot. But in life, success is determined by the kind of people you surround yourself with, and this is absolutely true with me and John. I'm not the sharpest club in the bag, but I was sharp enough to have and keep John Hampton in the orbit of my life. Early on in Bible college, when I first met John, I would sit in Cincinnati Christian University Chapel on the back row with Donna on one side and John on the other. I didn't really want to go to chapel. They were very much more godly. You're going. I never went before John Hampton and Donna showed up in my life. They helped me stay awake back there, but they truly embodied the verse that said a cord of 3 strands, 3 clubs, 3 friends are not easily broken. The Bible also says there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And for me, that friend was John Hampton. I never had a physical brother. I always prayed I'd have one, never had one, but I got a better one in that guy right there. In golf, there's usually a go-to club that's your favorite. And man, when the pressure is on, when it really counts, you can choose that club to deliver and avoid the hazards of the course. John Hampton has been my go-to club, my go-to friend when the pressure is on. And it has helped me avoid untold deep bunkers and hazards in my life. I did a little deep dive into Proverbs to think about friendship. And I want to read to you just a couple of the characteristics I came up with from this book of wisdom that describe who a good friend is. And as you listen to them, I want you to think about how many of these things apply to your friends, but I can tell you all of them apply to my best buddy, John Hampton. They build you up, not tear you down. They invite you in when others keep you out. John has included me in things over the years I didn't qualify for or even know about, but he wanted to include me. Good friends will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Am I right about that? Good friends will run to you in tough times when others run away from you. And here's a big one. Good friends want you to win even if they don't. You will never know this. Years ago, John was willing even to turn down a great preaching position that I ironically had also applied for, and he was willing to turn it down because he didn't want to hurt my chances. The search committee chair told me later that John said to him, hey, listen, if it means that David doesn't get the job just because you want me, David Vaughan and I were friends before I applied. We're going to be friends after I'm no longer the preacher at this church. Our friendship matters. Friend, that's a rare loyalty, especially in the ministry because these people are mean and competitive. If you want to have a good friendship, you want to have success on the course and in life, give and receive mulligans. Choose your clubs wisely. And the last one I would say to this, the last axiom, play your back nine well. Every golfer knows that if you want to win, it doesn't matter how you start around, it's how you finish. By the way, that's true for you in life, is it not? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Just ask the thief on the cross if you don't believe that. That's why they say the Masters tournament doesn't really start till the back nine on Sunday. And I've been watching and observing the last few holes of the back nine that John has played here with Journey. And I don't think anybody could have finished their round better than he has. He's pulled the right clubs. He's kept the right temperament. He's made the right shots at the right time. He's avoided the hazards that are so prevalent in succession. Now, I will say to this, some of it has been because Dustin has been an outstanding caddy for him on this back nine. It takes humility, TJ and him, it takes humility from that leader who is leaving and that which is coming. Both are important. But you have no idea how blessed you are to have John lead and leave this way. He has made it look a lot easier than it is. Trust me, I've just been through it. But now he and I get to play the next back nine of our lives together, coaching, teaching, helping other pastors and churches with the lessons we have learned from all the other past rounds of church life. And someday, when John and I get to the final hole on the final green of our lives, we will meet the one who will give us the trophy that we have often and always coveted the most, the crown of life. But until that day comes and we get that reward and that trophy, I do have something I'd like to present to John to signify what a champion for Christ he has truly been. Now, as you know, John loves his Kentucky Wildcats. Maybe not this year as much as other years. But anyway, I noticed the Kentucky Blue out there with the guest services team. What is it? Wonderful. I feel at home here. But John loves his Kentucky Wildcats, the championships they've won. Whenever a team, especially professional ones, I know it's been a while in Orlando, but especially professional ones, when they win one of those championships, they get one of those big, huge, ostentatious championship rings. Have you seen them? Guys that are on an interview, they wear them. So I thought it appropriate for John to have one of his own. I had hoped to give it to him today, but because of supply chain issues, you can blame everything on that. Supply chain issues, delivery has been delayed, so he will get it this year. But I brought some pictures of it. Would you like to see it? It displays some defining characteristics of his personal and professional life. The front of that huge championship ring says World Champion Preacher, because he is. It is plated with 24 karat gold. This is not cheap stuff now. I got the real stuff. It has his beloved Wildcats logo. One side has John Hampton, Kentucky, where he was born and the year he started as your lead pastor here. The other side has Journey Church, Florida, where he was reborn, and the last year, full year, he served as your lead pastor. And the inside of the ring, I really wasn't going to share that, but the people that made it, Signature Ring, put the whole thing on there. It's got to my BBF, best buddy forever. And it has the reference of 2 Timothy. Now I want to read this to you, and you tell me if this doesn't sound like your preacher, John Hampton. In the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who will judge the living and the dead, and in view of his appearing in his kingdom, I give you this charge. Preach the word. Be prepared in season, out of season. Has he not been prepared in season and out of season? Has he not corrected, rebuked, and encouraged with great patience and careful instruction? So that'll be close to his finger, and I think on big days he'll display it proudly. It's pretty bold and audacious ring. But if ever there's a humble guy that could wear it a couple of days, it's that guy. You know this already after hearing him preach for the last 12 years. I've never heard a finer teacher preacher than John Hampton. I have never. I have heard the best too. I have marveled at John's ability to write and deliver messages that are biblical and practical. I knew he was something special the first time I heard him preach as a freshman in Bible College Chapel, which is why he was his graduating class orator. I still remember the very first sermon, John, you preached in chapel that day at CCU. It was on love from 1 Corinthians 13. And he told a stupid joke about a mouse I thought was the greatest thing ever. And I still tell that stupid, corny joke. If you want to get the real thing, you got to put out the real thing. He has demonstrated that real thing to you and me. And we have seen a miracle of God whose mouth opened regularly here to teach and preach you the word. God has always had donkeys that spoke for him. And John and I've been reminded, we're just the sanctified donkey that talked. But he has demonstrated that love to me and you. I know this guy. I know who he is up here, but I know who he is out there, and I know who he is at home. And the greatest compliment that a preacher can ever be given is by those who know him best to say, that's a real person. They're the same on stage and off stage. They're consistent. They're not perfect, but they're consistent, and he is. His heart is as pure as his sermon delivery, and his infectious joy is as wide as the fair waves we have strolled. Let me close with this. The calling of a man of God to be a preacher for God is a privilege. We just never got over that God used these guys born in Kentucky to do what he's done. It's a privilege. Can I tell you, though, it's also a painful call? I don't know many lives where your life is an open book, and every family situation, every problem you have personally, it leaks into the professional. There is no difference. And his family is wonderful. They're just wonderful. Our daughter grew up with their daughters, our son with their sons. I haven't got a chance to meet all of the grandkids yet, but I like it that they got hair, and I love that about them. But Nee and family, Rachel Ann, you know what a treasure your dad is. It takes a special person to go through the privilege and then the pain without becoming jaded, sarcastic. But it is a powerful thing to answer the call of God and live it out. Not just anybody can do it. Many fail in the back nine of their life. They stumble. And I think, John, you're going to make it. You made it through today. Don't mess up. You got a few hours. I think you can do this. But the man of God, with the call of God and the power of God, is an amazing thing. And that's why I have figured this out, that being a preacher is less proclamational and more incarnational. I heard someone say that the art of preaching is not the preparation and delivery of a message. It is the preparation and delivery of a man. Incarnational. And that the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And that man for me and you was John Hampton. The poet of long ago, Edgar Guest, said it best: I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than merely tell the way. For the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Fine counsel is confusing, but examples always clear. And the best of all the preachers are the men who live their creeds. For to see good put in action is what everybody needs. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. And John Hampton has lived out a sermon for you every day as your lead pastor. He has crafted and presented dozens of hundreds of messages here. But the greatest message he delivered was himself. And all of us have been blessed to hear and see it. So to my world champion buddy, my world champion preacher friend, I say, well done. Donna and I are proud to not only have you stand up at our wedding, but stand out in our life. I don't know where I'd be without John Hampton. And many of you could say the same thing. So John, thank you for inviting me to be your partner in golf and in this lifelong friendship. If I only had one more sermon left to hear, I'd want you to be the preacher. And if I only had one more round of golf to play, I'd want it to be with you. And that's all I got to say about that. Love you, man.